It's on! Right, okay, this is D2 2016, starting with question 1. Straightforward question. Josh is making a calendar. He chooses 6 pictures, each of which will represent 2 months in the calendar. He needs to choose a picture which picture to use for each 2-month period. The bipartite graph is there. Now, it asks us, initially he chooses the sailing ships for March. I'm not going to read this because it tells us what he does. That's what this initial pattern relates to. That's what he could do. That's what it relates to. So, as we look down this, it then says, write down the shortest possible alternating path that starts at JF and finishes at either 2 or 4. The first thing I want to say, we didn't score particularly well, but read the question. So the question says, write down the shortest possible alternating path that starts at JF. So if you didn't write down an alternating path, you score 0, because that's what the question asked you to do. So by that, remember, an alternating path, I have copied the answer book a bit, but I'll do it on here, I think. Starting at JF, we're doing an alternating path. So JF could be connected to 3, the snow scene. The snow scene is currently connected to ND. ND could also be connected to 4. 4 is not currently connected to anything. There we go, we've done it. That's our 1 mark for writing down the shortest possible alternating path. You had to actually write that down. And then it says, hence write down a matching that only excludes SO and one of the pictures. Hence write down, so the matching we now write down has to involve this. Remember, what we do with the alternating path is you then change the status of that. So that alternating path, hang on, oh no, I didn't need to do that. That alternating path, there, is that copy? How do I copy? Looks like that. Oh, it's all going wrong. I could have just written it again. Should have just written it again. There you go. So the alternating path goes there. So what you do with an alternating path is you swap the status of things. So we have JF with 3. So there's JF. Then ND is going to be with 4. And then the others, we just need to put what was on the original diagram. So the original diagram had sailing ships with MA. Seascape wasn't in there. Sunset was with JA, and swans were with MJ. That was it. There you go, 2 marks. Really, really, really straightforward 2 marks. The question then wanted us to do the same thing again, working from the incomplete matching found in part 1. Write down the shortest possible alternating path that starts at SO and finishes at whichever of 2 and 4 has still not been matched. Hence write down a complete match. Now I felt, at this point, in order to do the next part of the question, I wanted to see the bipartite graph that came from that answer. So at this point in my working out, in my answer booklet, I did a quick diagram here in which I put all of those things in the same order that they originally were. So this was 1 with MA, 3 with JF, 4 with ND, 5 with JA, and 6 with MJ. Okay, so now I'm going to do my alternating path using that as my incomplete matching and the original bipartite graph that's over here. So, so what's it going to be? We want the shortest alternating path. We start with SO. Now SO could be connected to either 5 or 3. And I need to work my way through that. Currently 3 is connected to JF and 5 is connected to JA. JF, oh no, hang on, JF that's the only one it can be connected to. Yeah, that's the only link that JF has on my original diagram there. It's the only one, so that's no good. That's a dead end. I can't do any more with that one. So it must be the JA path that I'm following. JA could also be connected to, now we've got a choice here. We've come from 5, it could be connected to either 6 or 2. But 2 is currently blank, so that is my breakthrough. So that was my alternating path that I had to write down, ending with 2. Now I need to update my matching. So I'm getting rid of that connection. I'm putting SO joining to 5. I'm putting JA joining to 2. And the others I haven't changed. So 1 is still with MA, 3 is still with JF, 4 is still with MD, and 6 still with MJ. And there we go, there's my complete matching, hence right now the complete matching between the pictures and the months. Sometimes they have insisted that you give a little bit more detail, that you actually state what the months are, right? May, April, and all of that. I didn't. You would have got the mark without doing it. I think for only 2 marks. Yeah, it was only 2 marks. They're going to let you just write it like that. Part 3. Again, notice again, the question did say, write down the shortest possible alternating path. So there are a few of you there who haven't written down any alternating paths. You may have got these answers, but you didn't write down any alternating paths, so you didn't get any marks, because the question was really clear about what it wanted. Part 3, explain why 3 of the arcs in figure 1 must appear in the graph of any complete matching. Hence find a second complete matching. Well, what we've hopefully noticed as we've done this is that JF has only one thing that it connects to, doesn't it? Okay, if you go back to the original bipartite graph, JF only connects to snow scene. So that's the first thing we're going to say. JF has to be with 3. That's the only connection that is available, so we're limited with that. So if that has to be with 3, if we look at 3, then what else have we got in there? We've got, yeah, so that means that one's taken up. So those 2 connections now don't mean anything. Those are irrelevant, aren't they? Those other 2 paths. And if you look at those other 2, that relates to SO and ND, so that leaves them with only one possible connection. If the snow scene is taken, then both SO and ND have to be with their other options. So what we then say is that therefore SO must be with 5, and what was the other one that said? ND must be with 4. Okay, so that is a restriction that we've got nothing we can do anything about. 3 has to be JF, 4 has to be ND, and 5 has to be SO. And the question now is, can you rearrange the others to produce a different matching? So the other 3, MA, JA and MJ, to produce another matching that works. It's just a case of looking back at the diagram, and yes, you can do it if you actually, if you just kind of rotate them round. So if that goes to MJ, that one is MA, and that one is JA. That is possible, and that was your final mark, 6 out of 6. And that's matchings.